Okay, welcome back, everyone. It's week 3, day 1 of Web Fundamentals. It's the project week. This is the first morning algo. I've chosen this algo for us, and it's called two-number sum. Write a function that takes a non-empty array of distinct integers, so that's different integers, and an integer representing a target sum. So it's going to take an array and an integer. The array is going to have distinct integers in it, and the integer that you'll give in addition to the array, that you'll receive in addition to the array, is going to represent a target sum. So it's going to be what we want the sum to be. If any two integers in the input array sum up to the target sum, if any two integers in the input array sum up to the target sum, the function should return them, those two integers, in an array in any order. So return them in an array, those two integers that add up to the target sum, in any order in an array. If no two numbers sum up to the target sum, the function should return the string, no sum in the array can be found. You can't add a single integer to itself to add up to the target sum. So you can't just say, if the first one is the number 1 and then check that one. If it is, then just add it to itself as many times as it takes to add up to the target sum. So you can't just use one single number, and you have to use different integers in the array. All right, so in other words, given an array of integers called nums, an integer target, return the indices of two numbers that add up to the target. You may assume that each input would have exactly one solution, and you may not use the same element twice. Okay. Once you found one pair of integers that add up to the sum, you can assume that you found that one solution. That's it. You're not going to try to find every single possible addition to the sum. Just one. You're just looking for one pair of integers in the array. Okay, so here are some examples. Input, the nums can be 2, 7, 11, 15. The target sum is 9. The output would be position 0 and 1. It should say here, return the indices in an array. So let me just edit this message. Return indices of two numbers. So it is already here. Never mind. I don't need to edit this. But anyways, we were looking here. So return the indices 0, 1 because 2 and 7 add up to 9. And this one here, because nums at 0 and nums at 1 add up to 9, we return 0 and 1. Here's example 2. Nums 3, 2, 4. The target sum is 6. So the output should be 1 and 2 because the values at array at 1 and array at 2, their values add up to 6. And we have one called nums, 3 and 3, target is 6. Well, the output will be 0 and 1. Okay, so do we have any questions about what our goal is for the day? Not for the day, for the hour. Okay, great. All right, let's go ahead and break out into groups. Okay, Ethan, was that you? Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Go
Let me
ahead and
show,
share your screen.
let me show screen. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Oh, so the way instead of use the next for loop, I use the two for loops to in the for this function. So first I create the object,
Okay. Or
and
a
then
hash table
yeah, hash
equals an
table.
empty object. Okay.
Yeah.
And then so we take in the two values, R and target, and our first for loop has an index at 0 and it goes through the array length. And here
Yeah,
you have a console log. Let's delete the console log so we could better understand what we're doing here.
right here.
Yeah, no, see how console logs on line 20 and 22? Let's comment them out or delete them because in order for presentation's sake, we don't need to see those. Okay, so then all we're doing in this for loop then is saying hash table. So you're going to that object hash table and you're saying array at index whatever index that you are using, 0 equals index. So you're giving a key value pair in that object. You're saying in this object, I want the value 3 to equal 0, right? And then we say 2 equals 1 and 4 equals 2. Is that what we're doing in the hash table? Yeah, because
Yes.
look at the console log. Look at the console log here below, everyone. And the output, we had the final version of that object is 2 equals 1, 3 equals 0, 4 equals 2. So that's what we're seeing through line 21.
I don't understand why we're seeing that.
It's because his first for loop is going through each index of the array that you receive, ARR, and it's adding to an object an equivalent of everything that you're seeing in the array. So 3 should be 0. That's what you see there. That's the first addition to the, let me annotate this.
Because I don't understand why it's 3 is 0 instead of just 3.
Because look, what is 3 at index right now? The first index. What index is
Wait,
that? What index
I
is
know
3 in
that
the array?
um I know that its index is 0,
Okay, and what index is 2?
1.
Okay, so
That no, what I'm not understanding is why line 21
yeah,
adds the value of the index and the index itself to the
he's
object.
he's adding that to the object. This is a syntax. This is a way that you can write the syntax. You're saying, okay, add to the hash table this key value pair. The key is going to be the array at the index, so the value. It's going to add the value, and then it's index. Value,
Okay,
and then it's index.
so what you're saying is if you want to add the value of the index and the index itself, this is how you write that for an
This
object.
is a way.
A way to write that. Okay.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yep. This is
I'm
a way to write.
slightly clearer. All right. I think I'm
Okay.
getting there.
Yeah. There's more than one way to add to an object. This is one way that Ethan chose to write it.
Okay.
Okay. So he's adding to the object the value and the index every time he runs it through the first for loop. And then he writes another for loop. It's not within his for loop. It's just side by side. So in this next for loop, he runs through the array, and he says var. Now he says this variable sums equals target minus array at I. So target would be 5 in this case. So we're saying 5 minus array at I the first time would be 3. So he's saying sums equals 3. Target minus that value that you're currently at, 3. So sums equals 2. Excuse me. Sums equals 2 because target's 5 and array at I is 3. So sums equals 2. So if sums in hash table, so now he's checking his object. If sums is in hash table, so he's looking for if 2 is in a hash table, and 2 would be in his hash table because the value 2, see this final version of his object is right here. 2 is in his hash table. It's right here. It's at its value is 1. So we're saying if 2 is in the hash table and hash table at value 2 at this value is not equal to I, which is the current position that you're currently at, 0. So if this 2's value is not 0 as well, because we cannot return the same place, then return I and hash table at sums. Okay. And if at any point when you're finished through the for loop and you don't find a key, you don't find a pair, if this if statement never runs true, then we return no sum in the array could be found. This way, it seems much more complicated than writing a nested for loop, but it's more efficient. Nested for loop is going to take longer to run than something like this. And a way to improve this even more would be to add to this hash table at every iteration in this for loop and check against this var sums every single time. Okay, Ethan, I'll let you
basically take what's in that second for loop and
in
put
the
it
first
in
for
the
loop.
first for loop.
Yeah, I would take what's in the first for loop and put it in the second for loop. Ethan, have you tried doing that?
No.
Okay. Well, you can try that on your own time. We're going over time
Okay, sure.
algorithms now. So does anyone have any questions? Okay, great. All right.
Thank you,
So
Josh.
I am gonna go ahead and start the 10-minute break, and then we'll go ahead and start today's lecture.